Hi, I'm Sydney with Mothering Mother, and we're going to talk today about soaking and cooking beans. Here I've got pinto beans that I've rinsed and then soaked overnight on the countertop with a generous amount of water, and they've definitely doubled in volume. I'm now going to drain them, rinse them, and put them in a pot with fresh filtered water. So there, the beans are rinsed. I'm going to put them in the pot, and then I'm going to cover them with water. So we've got the beans covered with water. I'm going to add 2 sticks of kombu. Kombu is spelled K-O-M-B-U, and it's a sea vegetable that helps to reduce the gas from the beans while they're cooking. Soaking the beans overnight will reduce the cooking time by about half. So I'm going to bring this to the boil, and once it boils, I'm going to cover and let it simmer until they're cooked. And we'll show you what that looks like. As the beans come to the boil, often this white froth comes up. Do you see it here? And just spoon that off. It would be fine if you left it in. And if you were at a factory, this is what happens with your beans from a factory. They just leave the froth there. This just adds to the gas that your beans will create in your digestive system. So just scoop that off, and you can just put it down the drain. So now you can see the beans have come to the boil. I'm going to cover them and turn them to low. There's still some white stuff in there, so just check in sort of every 10 minutes and you'll see that the white foamy stuff will start to sort of congeal, and then you can just scoop it off and it'll be fine. So I'm going to turn it down to low. I might even have to do a little bit of that, give the lid a little breathing space, otherwise it rattles so hard it sends water all over the kitchen. And these beans will need half an hour, 45 minutes. I'll tell you precisely when they're cooked. And it looks like the beans have cooked. So they took about 35 minutes to cook. And I'll just show you, you take the beans and press them gently with a fork, and you see how they've mushed? That's how you know they're ready. Better not to overcook them, because they're going to cook a little more perhaps in your recipe. Plus they're going to cool down. So I take the lid off now. For me, a couple of things. Do not add salt. When you're cooking the beans, it will make the beans tough and hard. Do not over boil, like boil vigorously, or the beans will cook more on the outside, not enough on the inside, just like your vegetables. You want to simmer. You don't want a vigorous boil. So what I do with my beans when they've cooled down and they're at room temp is I store them in glass jars. To boil up beans just for one occasion is a waste of your energy and the energy of your stove. Make a big batch at one time, store them in glass jars, and freeze them. And then you have them on hand anytime you want beans, so that you don't need to use a jar or a can, sorry. So you're not using something that came from a factory, you're not using something that's lined with BPA. You take it out of your freezer, let it sit and thaw, and it's ready to go. When you put the beans in the jar, leave some space at the top. You know what happens, remember science class? It'll expand when it freezes. And I tend to just put the lid on the top, but I don't even screw it on, because that may cause it to break. And then when it's frozen, I put the lids on and I label it, what kind of bean. So this is an easy way to be prepared for your whole foods cooking, and to reduce your time, make a big batch, and to reduce your cost. Oh my gosh. Buy your beans in bulk and cook them yourself. It's a great way to save money. All right, eat well, be well, cook from your heart. Thank you.